everyone, parents and children. I feel twice blessed because I have the experience of having parents and I also have the experience of having children. And I know that not everyone has this blessing, so I just take a moment to acknowledge and honour that before I go into what I want to say to you. Whilst I was on my retreat in Italy, I was having a conversation with one of the participants. She's someone who's doing a training in psychotherapy, and I tell her a story about something that happened to me, and then she asked me a question. So let's rewind to a point in my personal history. I'm undergoing primal therapy, which I've been doing on a one-to-one basis with a therapist for a year. And at this point my therapist invites me to take part in the group sessions which they hold once a month. So I find myself in this building. It's a padded room. All the surfaces are padded, the walls and the floor. And there are about 30 people in this room, and it's like being in a psycho ward. People are screaming, running around, shouting, expressing themselves in the way that they need to do. And I find myself rummaging through a pile of toys, and I find a pair of vampire dolls, a male and a female. I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing when I find a washing up bowl, and I go to the sink and I fill the washing up bowl with water, and I take the two vampire dolls and I grab them by the throat and I thrust them into the water. And as I am drowning these vampire dolls, I say over and over again, evil dead fucking vampires, evil dead fucking vampires, evil dead fucking vampires, over and over for a long time. I had absolutely no idea what I was doing at the time, and I've looked back on that experience with the same thoughts. What was that about? I don't know. Absolutely no idea. And I'm on the retreat, and I'm being asked a question. I've just told a story to the person I'm having a conversation with, and she says to me, "Are they your parents?" And something remarkable happens to me, and I find myself undergoing a spontaneous involuntary integration. I'm sure at this point none of this is making any sense. So let me take you through to the morning of the same day as that conversation, when the person who's hosting this retreat talks to us about killing our parents. And I need to point out that they are creating their own language in which to experience and explore what is to be human. And so in the way that they mean it, killing your parents is performing some act or finding yourself in some situation whereby, in a very dramatic way, you let go of the influence of your parents on you and your life, and you step into the freedom of being who you are without reference to others that may have opinions about you. And let's face it, for those of us who have parents, parents are perhaps the most likely people to have strong opinions about what we're doing in our lives. So I've learnt this in the morning about a way to become free, or a part of becoming free is literally disconnecting and detaching from our parents and their expectations and their opinions of us. And so my integration about becoming free from the influence of my parents was, for me, simply remembering something I'd done and realising actually what I'd created for myself was a spontaneous impromptu ceremony to free myself from my parents. Now I want to talk about my children. I'm taken back to a point when my son was very young. He may have been 6 or 7 years old, and looking up at me, his father, he tells me in no uncertain terms to fuck off. And the moment my son tells me to fuck off, I have an insight of liberation, and inside I smile and I feel very happy, because I realise that my son feels free to say these words to me, his father, and I recognise that at no point in my life did I ever feel free to say anything of the kind to my father. So I could see my son surpassing me at that moment, and I felt at that time something miraculous had taken place. Now I want to talk about something else to do with my children, which is each of my children found their own way to kill me off in the language of this psychotherapeutic process I took part in this retreat. And for my son, it was shortly after his mother died. He had very strong opinions about me, and the result of this is that he made a choice to completely disconnect from me, and he went his own way in life. And I've not seen him since. I can remember my daughter undergoing a similar process, maybe around about a year or so after her mother died, and in a phone call she made it clear to me she didn't want to see me, and she didn't want to have any more communications with me. Maybe a little bit, but not much at all, as little as possible. Now, I acknowledge that that was very painful at the time, just as much as I interpret it as very painful when my son disconnected from me. And what I now understand is that what they were doing is they were both reclaiming their freedom to be exactly who they choose to be. And it's a source of great personal pride to me about both my children, that they are going about their lives, doing things their own way, without needing to be influenced by me. And my daughter is now in communication with me, and my son remains out of communication with me. And what I can do now is I can understand what is going on there, and to realise that they were taking their steps towards their freedom. And so I feel great gratitude to my children for reclaiming their freedom for themselves, as I feel gratitude to myself for reclaiming my own freedom. And I have great gratitude to all the people at the retreat, and to all the people in my life. May we all take our own steps to freedom in the way that we choose to do so. May we have gratitude for everything that comes to us in our life path. The pleasurable things, the challenging experiences, gratitude for everything. Now I'm going to turn the camera around and I'm going to show you this picture of this tree. All the time I've been making this film, I've been aware of this tree. And what I notice about it is, first of all, it is coming into bud. It's preparing to blossom. I can feel the happiness of the tree just to be alive. This is the great gift that all plants show us all the time. All plants are fundamentally expressing freedom, being exactly what they are, wherever they are, doing what they're doing, being alive. So thank you to all the plants, because I recognise that you are always showing us the way to freedom. It all is what it is. Thank you very much, everybody. Much love to you.